All right, Ian, so let's get started. We'll just do 33 feet to get started with. And by the way, guys, this is a 33-foot tape, so we might have to do this a couple of different times. But as I measure out 33 feet, which is your average diving depth for the brand new diver, it's typically what we do students at as well for their open water class here. So there's 25 feet. You see I'm not really that far away from the camera here. What's up, guys? It's Brian again from Lake Hickory Scuba and Marina. If you are new to our channel, do me a huge favor. Hit this little subscribe button right here and ding that little bell as well. That way you guys are going to be notified every time we upload new content. Now, we're here in the middle of the winter. It's really cold out here today, and we've got pretty much an empty parking lot, which is going to be great for what we're going to be discussing today. And we're going to talk about distances and the perception of depth when you're underwater. And I'm not talking about clarity. We did a video on that. If you want to see the video we did on clarity and how we actually measure the visibility and all that, I'll link it up here somewhere for you, put it down in the description. But what we're going to be talking about is the actual perception of depth and how far away depth actually is. So to do that, we're going to take a tape measure here, and I'm going to get my cameraman to help me. I'm going to measure out some typical diving depths. Let's say 33 feet, 66 feet, 99 feet, or 100 feet. We're even going to go to the recreational limit of 130 feet just to give you a perception of how far something actually is. Now, here in our parking lot, if Ian will turn around for me, you'll see this is the building here behind us. From the edge of the building here, turn back around Ian, all the way to our mailbox is roughly around 264 feet, or around the 88-yard mark. So that would be typically what we would call technical depths, because it's beyond that 130 feet. But just so that you guys can see it in a different perspective, if you will, we're going to measure out some typical diving depths and let you see how deep we're actually going underwater. All right, Ian, so let's get started. We'll just do 33 feet to get started with. And by the way, guys, this is a 33-foot tape, so we might have to do this a couple of different times. But as I measure out 33 feet, which is your average diving depth for the brand new diver, it's typically what we do students at as well for their open water class here. So there's 25 feet. You see I'm not really that far away from the camera here. There's 32 feet, and then right here is 33 feet. So what I'm going to have Ian do is kind of come forward a little bit, and he's going to stand here. Just go ahead and hold the tape. Got him a mark. I'm going to go ahead and mark out to the 66 foot and see just how far out we are. So once you get to that mark there, Ian, just stop for me. That's perfect right there. And then I'm going to make another mark. So this would be 66 feet. Okay. And we'll do a 99 foot or 100 foot dive. And you're right on top of the mark. That's perfect right there. So we'll stretch out the tape a little bit. Here would be 99. Foot behind us here would actually be 100. All right, come on out. Now let's go to recreational limits here. We'll see where recreational limits takes us. All right, so right there, this would be 133. We'll call it 130. All right. So now what I'm going to do is have Ian walk all the way back, and then I am actually going to walk off these distances just to show you. I got it? Just to show you how deep we actually are here. So once he gets back there, judging from our parking lot, and this is something you guys can do. You can very easily look us up on Google Maps, and you can see what the distance of our parking lot is here to give you a better perspective of depth underwater. So when we say we're going to 60 feet, and that's kind of the bare minimum for deep diving, you can see 60 feet really ain't that much. Even if we say recreational limits of 130 feet, exactly where Ian is now compared to where I am, this is 130 feet. So this would be recreational limits. Now, if I walk this, let's say from a depth of 133 all the way to the surface, this is negating doing a safety stop, but if I came up a foot every 2 seconds, that would be roughly 266 seconds it would take me to walk this. Obviously, I can walk that a lot faster here on land, but to do it safely underwater, that's about how long it would take me. But yeah, guys, this is recreational limits. If I take a step back, now I'm in technical limitations as far as what our depths are. But yeah, it's really not that far. If you think about 100 feet, 3 times this distance, well, actually 100 feet would be up here. So 3 times this distance right here would actually be a football field. So 300 foot of depth, 300 foot football field, which would be 100 yards, it's really not that far. So when we think of perspective, we're always saying, man, that's really deep underwater. But in the reality of things, it's not. Because yet again, 130 feet on land, which would be recreational depth limitations for scuba in general, it's not that far. We're really not that deep. So when we think of an emergencies, maybe you're out of air, it's this, that, and the other. If you can visualize yourself this far from the surface, from a horizontal plane versus a vertical plane, you can see where divers can tend to freak out and they can panic. But the reality is, it's not that big a deal to go that short a distance, say in an out of air emergency. However, we do stress, always have a dive buddy with you, always have good gas management, but we also always stress never to panic. But just as a quick reference, this is 130 feet, recreational limits. I'm going to go ahead and come up to 100 feet here. Here's 100 foot of depth, or 99. Let's go ahead and go up to 66. Here's 66. This is the minimum, say, requirement for a deep diver class, something like that. And then, of course, the most average depth that we take divers to for their open water program, most coral reefs, 33 feet. That's the depth that we're at here. And, of course, we can bring it all the way back to the surface as well. But, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gives you a better perspective of depth when you're underwater. As we can see, this parking lot's really not that long. It's like 260-some feet long. However, when we think of it underwater, we think of these great depths. But it also makes you think about the pressure that's involved and this, that, and the other. And this is why it's so important that you are getting proper training, because when you do look at it from this perspective, it doesn't seem as dangerous as what it actually is. Because I really hope you do enjoy this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you got any questions, comments, or concerns, drop me a comment down below and I'll try to answer them the best I can and as quick as I can as well. If you got any ideas for future videos, let me know what you might want to see. If it's a perspective-related video, I'll be glad to make it for you. That's going to do it for today, guys. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.